Hey Gary, a quick response video to your latest video on communism. I'll try to make it as quick as I can. Well, first, my first point is that as a Russian person, I know what communism is, and you're right in that the way it was attempted in Russia was just a fail. It was just it was totalitarian regime. You cannot possibly have anything. The idea of communism itself was sound, but the way it was executed was severely flawed, basically. That's my first point. And my second point is socialism was never attempted on a global scale anywhere. So I know you have a version of socialism, and it's a good version, essentially. It's a way of you were talking about how ways of improving capitalism by eliminating inheritance laws and basically just evening the ground for everyone, right? To not have legacy carry on, for rich people till the end of time and be owned by the ruling class till you die. But socialism was never attempted on a global scale anywhere. Communism was a fail. Every single country that tried to install communism or a version of socialism necessarily had a party system whereby the ruling class had all the benefits, whereas the lower classes had to do all the work to prop up that ruling class, which is pure bullshit. You cannot possibly have an egalitarian society through a system like that. My fourth point is that, or a fourth point, I don't know anymore, is I recently watched a video of a new series by the creator of the Zeitgeist movement, Peter Joseph. There are 3 episodes available so far. I'm going to link to them at the bottom of this video so you can watch them yourself. Each one is approximately half an hour, so it shouldn't take that much time for you. Now, I know you don't like Zeitgeist movement. I know you think it's a utopian society, which is fine. I know how much of a rational person you are, and your anti-natalist logic is impeccable. I can't argue with that. However, I'm pretty sure I'm opening floodgates here for a lot of criticism and maybe even some insults, which is fine. I know how you are. I know how irrational things annoy you, so I'm ready for all that, and a lot of it might even be justified. But I'm just gonna throw the ball at your court and see how you treat it from that point on, how you're gonna dribble it. Anyways, so what Peter is talking about there is just the way that in the past labor was basically valued for its function. All the products were just were manufactured for a particular function that basically made life easier, more comfortable for people. However, a bunch of assholes back in the day, mostly of a Wall Street variety, decided to re-sculpt society, re-sculpt the values by focusing on perceived and artificial needs and desires to make a person feel incomplete, and then to sell, like snake oil people, just to sell bullshit to them and make them desire that bullshit to fill in a perceived void in themselves. So that's where consumerism emerged, which is the biggest plague on the planet. Basically, it's just it's like the whole economy is driven by that, essentially, by consumerism. Just a whole bunch of shitty artificial needs people, advertisement gives you, and then everyone, the whole system, the whole service sector is trying to push that shit down your throat. And then the people, in third world countries have to manufacture that shit. Other people have to work in first world countries in the service sector to maintain this shit, like customer service, all for these companies. Obviously, we're all owned by the corporations, as you said. So this whole system is it's all capitalism is a direct result of mercantilism. It's all an outgrowth of primitive societies in the past. It's completely out of sync with modern scientific realities. Now I'm going to be using the Zeitgeist movement terms here a bit, but so, again, I know you're against that, so any criticism you have, I know you're going to be trying to be level-headed about it, but just in case you become a little bit more emotional, that's fine. I mean, it's after all, it's a it's a discussion and it's a debate, and there is no. It's really hard to remain cordial every step of the way. But I always try. You can always try. Anyways, yeah. So essentially, consumerism was architected by these assholes from of Wall Street flavor, and that's what capitalism is based on. Now, how is that? How can you fix that? Now, you mentioned some ways of fixing that within the current capitalistic system, which I agree with. Those are great ways. Like socialism with incentives, basically, right? Which is fine. I mean, it's a giant improvement over what we have right now. However, I think it's a patchwork solution. I mean, it's not gonna revolutionize anything. It's gonna change things for the better, and we should definitely be on top of it. Trying to do it as we speak. But these are, at least in my humble opinion, are patchwork solutions. I'm more of a proponent of something that is a far more radical approach, and I'm gonna just throw some ideas out there, and you can try to criticize them based on what you think, what the limit of the applicability of these ideas are, and if some of them are plausible according to in your opinion, and others are not. Well, first of all, I have to say this again, as I mentioned before, the scientific progress is marching far quicker than social progress can possibly keep up. I mean, right now we, as Earth, like every single country, can provide far more food. Pretty much like first world countries waste food, while third world countries are starving, which is pure bullshit. If there was a way to effectively organize all that waste and put it towards, put it to people who are actually starving in third world countries, that would be a giant step in eliminating poverty, first of all. And right now, the mechanisms of capitalism are preventing that from happening, because there is no profit in giving out free food to third world countries or to people in first world countries. There is no profit in eliminating poverty. There is no profit in anything that pretty much is not concerned with making the owner's class rich. For example, there is a concept called planned obsolescence, where each product is made inferior from the outset in order to introduce a newer product with more features. In a year or 2 years. Let's talk about Apple, who made the iPhone. Then had iPhone 2, iPhone 3, 4, 5, and on and on. I mean, if they could have made the first design could have been the end design. Instead, it goes in iterations, and each one supposedly improves upon the other, and yet it doesn't, because each one has a warranty. Each one breaks just as quick as the other one. So it's all a game. It's all being played in order for a corporation to keep pumping out new products, to keep marketing, to keep advertising it to people, telling them that they need that product, even though it's crap, and then making money off of it. So in this system, there's no profit in social progress, which is why humanity is stifled by money, stifled by all of these mechanisms. So if revolution should happen, it should happen first of all in values. We need to be transformed. Again, I don't want to sound like Professor Anton with some of the terms he uses, but well, let's just say that even though human nature is, it's all DNA molecule, and it's all like selfish, and it's all passing on your genes to future generations, and altruism is bullshit. There's no such thing, and it's all, even the communal aspect of humanity are all part of a need to belong socially. So it's all selfish, anyways. Well, the revolution. First of all, in addition to what I just said, the thing that amplified the social vices of humanity which are inborn, of course, are environment of scarcity. I mean, pretty much before the advent of latest technology, well, economy essentially is a way of delimiting resources, because there is not enough of it, because we are in an environment of scarcity, which is why everyone has to work, because there's not enough to go for everyone to go around. Supposedly, this is the economics view of things. This is what the whole system of economics is based on the idea of scarcity. The second scarcity is eliminated, economics will just be destroyed. The whole economics, the basis of economics will collapse right away. And I don't know if you ever talked about that particular aspect. I mean, you always focused on human nature as such, as being unsuitable for any sort of utopias. However, you never actually mentioned, at least from the videos I watched, you never actually mentioned the aspect of scarcity, and how scarcity is the one thing that amplifies all our vices to the highest possible degree. There is not enough for everyone to go around, as people think, and this is why everyone is fighting with each other. I mean, again, it's a competitive nature of a DNA. It's just amplified by the fact that the idea of scarcity is spread around the world, right? Nowadays, if scientists weren't limited by the funding from the government, a lot of them could possibly, even right now, we could have had some sort of machine that could, like, it's called nanofactories, which could essentially produce nearly infinite quantities of food. I mean, there are hydroponic farms, I think it's called. Basically, there are a lot of different ways of growing food that doesn't even on land that is not arable, like in a desert. I think it's called hydroponics. It's called, yeah. So there's a lot of different technological solutions to modern woes, and but none of it is used because there's no profit in that. Well, same thing with oil, right? I mean, if oil is the only profitable thing in the market right now, there's no profit in geothermal energy and wind energy. All of that is just seen as some sort of pet projects to appease the environmentalists, nothing else. And I was just wondering, I mean, what do you think, the idea of scarcity? I mean, with the elimination of scarcity, do you think the competitive nature of the human race will be reduced to a degree where capitalism itself will, first of all, collapse, second of all, money will disappear? Now, I know that this will probably be the most controversial aspect of this video, because you think money is fine, but other things about its handling are wrong. I think that money itself is wrong. Why? It's wrong because money is an artificial medium which by itself is not worth anything. I mean, it used to be backed up by gold. Right now it's not backed up by anything. It's fiat currency. It's based on one's faith in money having value. And it's all, a lot of it, I mean, most of the money in circulation right now is not even physical. It's just a bunch of binary numbers, 0 and 1s in the computer. So with the elimination of scarcity, there's not going to be any more need for an additional layer of access. Actually, a different barrier, an additional barrier between pretty much humans and access to resources, because the thing we need are resources, not money. Money is just a way of getting these resources. Once we eliminate scarcity, with technological progress, which is stifled right now by capitalism, we'll be able to give people everything they need. Now, a lot of criticism on that idea rests on the assumption that everyone's needs are different, and so a person would, how would you accommodate a person who wants 50 Lamborghinis and 60 mansions? Well, you don't. Because every single person, if you change their value system from a society that is oriented towards consumerism to a society that is oriented towards community, towards helping each other towards equality. And if everyone is educated about the consequences of what of humanity is doing towards, all of the global warming factors that are our fault, everyone, towards all the abusive practices of capitalism, everyone could, again, I'm talking about the ideal scenario, rationally look at things and see that consumerism just destroying the earth, it's just ravaging it. And once we have a different system, everyone will adjust their needs accordingly, because we live on a finite planet, we have a finite amount of resources, and the way we are extracting these resources right now for profit is unsustainable. I mean, at the end of the day, we are extracting them at a rate that is higher, much higher actually, than the rate at which Earth can regenerate the same resources. So we're destroying the planet, ecosystem, everything, and it's all because of capitalism. It's all because of the value system that it appends to everything, but it's all due to advertisement, all of that essentially. So I would say 95% of all jobs in the world are all a result of capitalism. So I don't know if I can connect it to what you mentioned in your video of a bunch of people making a certain small percentage of humanity doing productive work while everyone else, pretty much just doing shit, like service sector, right? But I think you could, because capitalism and everything around it, money, all results pretty much in the professions that are useless. Lawyers, sales clerks, pretty much advertisement, marketing, anything that is decoupled from providing the essential resources is essentially a wasteful, useless profession. And right now everything's being automated anyway. I mean, if you look at Japan, pretty much a lot of the jobs that not all of them, but a lot of the jobs that used to be done by people and done by machines. Even they have restaurants that are fully automated, so you don't even need any waiters there at all. With potential, again, once we remove capitalism, we could and money, we could first of all automate all the work. With the potential for artificial intelligence of a day, we'd be able to first of all remove all the useless work that's created by capitalism, 95% of it, and the rest of it we could just automate. Robots could be doing all this stupid, monotonous drudgery, work people hate, and everyone would have direct access to resources they need. So instead of going, stealing, first of all, the whole idea of theft will go the way of the dinosaurs. No one will have a motivation to commit any crime, because there's going to be a revolution of values. People are not going to be thinking in terms of, okay, I need to get this job, so instead of that guy, I need to make a better salary in order to show off and buy Lamborghinis, buy some Rolex watches, and so I could pick up that hot chick over there in my brand new Lamborghini, and that I could purchase a vacation house in every single country in the world. People are not going to be thinking like that. People will not be limited anymore by all of these values that are not even their own. These are values that were created by the capitalist class in order to milk these people for their money. So they milk these people for their money. These people never attain the promised goods, and the only people who get to enjoy this lifestyle are the honest class, essentially. So it's just horrible. It's a big Ponzi scheme. The whole economy is a Ponzi scheme. There's no economy whatsoever. It's all one big inflated bullshit. It's an inflated monopoly game. I mean, the whole earth is enslaved by imaginary debt. Debt is not even a concept. It's nothing. It's all in your head. I mean, the whole fucking the whole earth is enslaved by imaginary mental disorder. Yeah, so I think that once we eliminate scarcity and we have a system that is not limited by money, by doing boring crap to earn a living. First of all, the whole idea of earning a living is bullshit, because everyone needs to have access to the basic resources. And everyone needs to have a constitutional right to pretty much to live comfortably and not have to submit to slavery for the rest of their life, just secure the basics, let alone have access to any of the luxuries of life. And this will also completely resolve class division. And well, I'm gonna be talking about those far-fetched ideas of eliminating government, because government is just a middleman. I mean, it doesn't do shit. I mean, the purpose, I mean, I'm gonna say something even more controversial right now. I mean, at the end of the day, if society is ever to become truly civilized, and right now we're not, we're just barbaric society, we'd need to, eventually laws would become unnecessary. Once all the ills of humanity, of society are alleviated, are removed, again, ideal scenario, right? I mean, I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if eliminated human scarcity will automatically change human nature. I don't know how those things correlate. I just know that human scarcity, I mean, the scarcity is affecting human behavior to a very large degree. I mean, think about it. Even person who steals a car, I mean, we put him to jail, and then we have to pay for him, right? We have to pay for him for however many years he's in jail. That's far bigger. It's a far bigger cost than the cost of a car he tried to steal. So just give him a fucking car. I mean, this whole system is plagued with inefficiencies. I mean, hell, even we'd rather keep a death row inmate in jail, or anyone else in jail, all the criminals, you know, where they have access to food, you know, to a roof over their head, and we just let homeless people starve to death, as if they're less worthy than these aforementioned criminals, just because they can't secure a job, or they don't have the necessary skills, or you know, society thinks of them as pariahs, as outcasts. I mean, this whole system is just pure bullshit, which is why I think that simply, you know, limiting inheritance law and doing all the other changes you suggested, while a great idea, will not cure these things. We don't need patchwork solutions. We need a revolutionary, complete overhaul of the whole system. We need to remove money. We need to remove capitalism. We need to change all the values of humanity and see if it has any effect on human nature. At the very least, eliminating scarcity will improve human behavior. Potentially, it could completely eliminate poverty. It could eliminate all the social ills humanity has been struggling with for decades, since its inception, basically. Yeah, so at the end of the day, I think that I mean, a lot of the ideas of a resource-based economy hinge on scientific progress. I mean, laws are a way of deterring unwanted behavior from a barbaric population. Truly civilized society needs no laws. I mean, you don't need a law to prevent you from driving, let's say, 100 kilometers in 100 miles per hour in an 80 miles per hour road, on an 80 miles per hour road, if you design technology in a way that will automatically limit limit the speed where it was set up to be limited in such a way on the road. Or you don't need to worry about people crashing, people drunk driving. If you equip cars with sufficient technology, they will simply not start unless that person is sober. Now you could argue that right now we have something like that as well. Some cars, after repeated drunken DUIs, they install a special, I don't know if a breathalyzer or something like that. So you have to breathe into it to start the car, but that's a very inefficient technology because you can always have someone else breathe into that breathalyzer and the car will start. Then the other person can take control. No, in the future, cars will be tagged with special, technological solutions which will prevent those sort of loopholes from existing. So again, I think that laws are only necessary in a society that is barbaric, like ours. In a truly civilized society, laws will not be necessary because the system will not contain any system will not have such gaping holes as capitalism does, where it literally necessitates criminal behavior because there's not enough jobs, not enough money, not enough buying power. I mean, all the social ills are caused by capitalism. So patchwork solutions are simply not going to cut it. They could be used in a transition to a post-capitalism society, to post-scarcity society. But Gary, if we just modify the current system to contain the sort of suggestions you mentioned, it's not gonna last for long. I mean, it's not gonna change society in any perceivable form to a degree that will truly be civilized. I think, and you can judge my, the rationality of the zeitgeist movement, a rationality of a sort of things I talked about here yourself, of course. So again, you can be as harsh as you want. I mean, I'm not going to take offense if you think that, it's a stupid, irrational idea, and, just the usual way you respond to people. I mean, that's fine with me. I mean, but, and I encourage you to watch these shows. It's 3 episodes called Culture and Decline. I'm going to link to them in the video. And if you have time, if you can read about the Venus Project. I don't want you to focus too much on the zeitgeist movies because they don't contain the whole picture. If you just judge the movement based on the movie, it would seem utopian, really. So if you look at it if you look on the FAQ section of the Venus Project website, which is venusproject.com, or if you look on the zeitgeist movement, which is I think it's thezeitgeistmovement.com. They published a recent paper, like a new sort of manifest orientation guide, which outlines pretty much all of the modern capitalistic fallacies which are keeping the current problems going strong, essentially. So I think that we need a significant overhaul of the whole system. Merely patchwork solutions are not going to work. It's gonna make things better, of course. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. We should definitely do it. I mean, obviously we can't overhaul society in a day, or in I don't know what the time frames are. Obviously we need to start somewhere, and I think for that purpose your solutions are perfect. I mean, they're rational, they're reasonable. I mean, you can clearly see the logic you demonstrate in your anti-natalism videos, absolutely. However, I do not think it's the end solution, be all end all. We need something far more significant if we are to continue pretty much surviving, to live in harmony with each other. Fuck, I don't like the word harmony. just, you know, just living together, not being, you know, not bringing out our human nature at every single turn, you know. The whole idea of a job is bullshit. Instead of reducing the level of unemployment, we should reduce the level of employment for automation, so we could fucking end the whole system. I mean, there's not going to be any concern about automation destroying jobs if there are no more jobs. If the whole system, if consumerism, capitalism, and money, if everything is destroyed, there's not going to be any more problem with automation. Automation is something that's going to free us. It's not going to enslave us. It's not going to destroy us. We need to overhaul the whole socio-economic system we have right now, which is capitalism, needs to go, along with money and all the values that are associated with that rely on that. Unless we eliminate all of these things, society will just stay as they are, even if we install your solutions, you know, make the necessary modifications to the system to make it to reduce the effect of a hand of capitalism, invisible hand, right? So yeah, so that's what I think should happen. I mean, you might think it's utopian, but I think that it could even be related to anti-natalism. I mean, think about it. We need to bow out gracefully, because let's face it, no matter what sort of system we have, the game is still going to be stupid. I can't dispute that fact. But we need to reduce suffering. We need to reduce it to a significant degree. We need to make the game simpler to play. We need to make the game somewhat likable for currently existing people. I don't think we need to bring any more people here, absolutely not. Procreation is horrible. But people are doing it anyways, right? So if we are to continue doing it for a foreseeable future, at least do it within a system that's not going to be all suffering for these people. I mean, right now everyone is born into slavery. Not only existential slavery, but socioeconomic slavery. I mean, existential slavery is unavoidable, obviously, but socioeconomic slavery, it is avoidable. It's our fault. It's not a fault of God. It's not a fault of evolution. In a way, it is, of course, but you know, because of its competitive nature of DNA and everything. But capitalism is our creation. It's not a metaphysical creation. Money is not a concept that, you know, exists in nature. Animals don't need money. Animals don't need to go to work. Animals don't need mortgages. We could learn a little bit. We could learn to rely on nature and not on the sort of crap we rely on right now. All we need is access to resources, and the whole system will collapse. If we still have money in the system is going to remain corrupted piece of shit. So yeah, just to end note to this video, I love your impeccable logic when it comes to anti-natalism. It's uncontestable. That's why I never actually made any response videos to that, except a couple of them that I did for a particular, you know, for a particular few questions I had. But I think that I mean, it just it's not clear to me why wouldn't you think of more radical solutions to the current ills, to the current ills of society as such, which is, you know, for currently existing people, you know, a more radical solution. It seems to me that your sort of rationality could be exercised extremely well for more radical solutions rather than just patchwork solutions. Yeah, so you know, it's a very broad subject, and I don't want to do it disservice. So it'd be great if you could watch the series and you could read the FAQ on the websites. I'll provide a link for all of them, you know, at the bottom of this video. And I think it's very, very much related to the debate on communism, because communism's end goal essentially was to create an egalitarian society. If we remove capitalism, money, if we remove labor, if we automate everything, this will remove 95% of boring, stupid jobs. It will free people. It will give them access to what they want, when they want it, within the carrying capacity of the earth, of course. So we're not going to be using things for profit's sake, but it's all going to be based on efficiency. And it's going to reduce suffering to such a significant degree that it's not even funny. So it's going to potentially eliminate crime, cure poverty. It's going to pretty much change the whole landscape of the socio-economic existence as we know it. So again, I don't want to fall into an optimistic trap here. I'm not an optimist by any stretch of imagination, as you can tell by my videos and my blog. But I think, if we are looking into ethicalism, anti-natalism as the ultimate solution to everything, then we should at least try to install a system like resource-based economy, which will make all our lives far more likable, far more enjoyable. And of course, once scientific progress is not reliant on funding, on money anymore, we could then make far more advanced technological solutions as well, like say the virtual reality you were talking about. We could definitely make that a reality. People could literally live in virtual reality. So yeah, so I think resource-based economy is very much a part of transhumanism, although I wanted to stay away from all the more radical concepts of mind upload and all that shit from people like Kurzweil and singularity and all that. I don't want to talk about it within the concept, within the confines of this video. So yeah, so I would definitely like to know your take on the resource-based economy and how a radical solution is needed for humanity to to improve significantly, to go beyond try to go beyond the competitive human nature, because scarcity is driving human nature to be the worst it can be. If we eliminate scarcity, perhaps it will not change human nature, perhaps nothing will, but it will make it possible for everyone to live together in harmony, and for everyone to have a life from birth to death which is as enjoyable as it could be. Yeah, thanks.